Hi guys, how are you? How have you been? It has been quite some time since I haven't posted. Since summer vacation is finally over, autumn is coming back, and the weather is still nice, like outside. I've absolutely loved the view. I went all the way here just for like the pretty background, and in this video, I wanna talk about and just share 5 things I learned over the summer vacation because I feel like everyone having knowledge of a certain topic or of a certain thing, sharing our knowledge with each other will make us stronger and sharpen our knowledge together. And yeah, let's get into the video. So the first thing I've noticed was that like our lives is exactly like a movie, exactly like a movie. And you know how, for example, if you have like a horror movie scene or something like that and you put like some funny music in the background, it becomes less scary. So like our lives are exactly like a movie, and we need to like choose our track wisely, and like what we put into our life, what we expose ourselves to, what movies we watch, what music we listen to, the people we around us, and everything like that. And I think we should like really stand for a still second and think about like, am I the main character of my own life, or is someone else in the main role when I'm supposed to be in the main role of my own life? Like, I think you get what I'm trying to say with this. And like to add a little more, the for example, the more background music you add, the more effects, the more real it seems. Like it, I don't think life is boring. Like life has no boring moments. Well, yeah, except for some of them, but like every single boring thing that comes to our lives, we can actually like make it fun. Think, how can I make like the boring things fun for me? Because I'm a big believer that with the right mindset you can actually conquer every. Okay, moving on to the second one. I don't know, like in every single one of my videos, I'm like either playing with my hair, either like playing with my clothes, necklace, anything. I don't know. It's just something I do when I record. It's weird, but I'm not gonna judge myself for like those little things. And the second one, it's a really big one, and it was something like I had to like go face to face with, and that is you losing motivation for the things you love, because like you know how it gets like so depressing. Damn, like that used to be like my favorite thing, and I've completely lost motivation about it. Maybe that motivation lost you experiencing with a hobby or something you used to really like. Maybe that's a redirection. Maybe that's something like, okay, this was made for me to understand or to be around me doing this certain hobby or this certain thing for some time, but for now on, if I'm losing motivation for this, or like this thing that used to fill me up is starting to drain me, then I should like start looking for something new, something that will make you feel like will fill you up, you know. And I personally think that losing motivation for something, or like generally when you lose something, you are going to receive that thing back. Like God doesn't let things unfinished. For example, somewhere in the Bible it's mentioned that from where God hurt you, He will heal the wound, and He will make you like feel even better than you were before. In order to grow, you need to learn to like cut things out of your life. For example, you see a pretty plant. You know what people usually do to like plants? They like they like cut certain leaves. Like you need to learn to cut the dry leaves off, and the plant will grow much more stronger. And like I don't know if this applies to like everyone, but like for example when I cut my hair, like for example I cut it this short, and like twice the time it took me to grow, like I don't know, like that time cutting now back half of it, it grew like twice as fast. I don't know, like I am a bit tired while I'm recording this video, but like if I don't keep up with the things I love, then who will? Okay, moving on to the third point I want to make, and the third point is like I was sitting in like reflection of how this summer was, and that was like whoa, now I've actually realized this, now I've actually noticed this. And that the thing that I noticed was like we're exactly like a phone. We function, we have certain connections with people, etc. But like phones run out of battery, and so do humans. We need to learn to recharge, we need to learn rest, we need to learn balance. Like I think rest is one of the biggest things I need to learn. And like resting and balance really have not been on my plate lately. Like I am trying to grow into this like balanced person, though I'm totally not balanced, but I am chaotic as a person. And like you need to choose what are your fuels, how do you charge yourself. Like there is different types of uh, chargers. For example, like for the phones there are like those cable ones and those magnetic ones. Like you need to choose what is going to recharge your energy, and you need to choose that you want to recharge, because you cannot expect a phone at 10% battery to run as fast as a phone that is like 100% battery. And the reason why I'm saying this and I'm pointing this out, because like our social battery runs, it can run off, but that's never a bad thing, that's never a bad thing, because like running out of battery is totally okay, it's totally normal. But you need to understand when it's time to actually take that rest, because not resting can lead to like you being angry all the time, or being too tired, or like not having energy for the other things that are important. You need to learn to prioritize what is important for you and what doesn't, what serves you and what doesn't. And like try to like choose the things that are also gonna benefit you in the long run, because like choosing habits like smoking, drinking, like those bring absolutely no benefit to you. But like choosing habits like, okay, I want to learn this certain skill, or I want to do this certain thing that in like 5 or 6 years might blow up, might bring me some side money in. Another thing that I had to learn the hard way this summer is that I know this thing it's usually mentioned a lot, but like sometimes I need to remind myself that this is just a chapter of my life. And it can be happy chapters or sad chapters. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you flip the page and you start a new chapter, because that's how life it is. That's how life it's meant to be. Like God is the greatest author everybody can say he is, because he never lets books unfinished, and he never writes a bad book. When God wrote your story, he clearly knew what he wrote in there. And the main character, like think about this, a great story is the hero standing on their phones, is their hero crying in every single chapter? No, they're fighting, they are growing, they are learning, and that's how our lives are too. We need to understand that although it might be hard sometimes, and I know maybe it's half of the book till now has been said for okay, but does it have a happy ending? Yes, it has a happy ending, because God has a plan for you. God knows what He is doing when He made you. Before you are even born, God took a good look at you and said, okay, this person's purpose is this, this, and this. I am the type of person that, like, I am negative sometimes, and like it's a bit close to, like, it's a different to be realistic and to be like negative, because there is a slight difference between negativity and realism, because realism is when you are being real to yourself, like, okay, this thing is bad for me, I made a mistake here, and then you stop. Okay, I've made this mistake, what I can do is do better next time, or improve, or just, you get the point. And negativity is, I did this certain thing and now my whole life is ruined, my whole entire career is ruined, I'm a failure, blah blah blah. Like, it's a very thin line between those two, and like it's very easy to jump from being realistic to being negative. And every single chapter of your life, it's meant to have a purpose. Like, think about, okay, but why does this has to happen to me? Because, like, for example, I'm taking myself, I, Estera, think that it wasn't necessary for me to go through these certain things, but like, where is the fun in the story? Because I, as a writer, I can really put a lot of effort and talking into this. Like, I'm currently writing a book and I could talk about it all day, but like, think about it this way. If the parts that in my life that were like so-called canon events, if those didn't happen, like, okay, so I was like this, and then I became the version that I am of myself and being proud and growing, like, where is the plot twist? That plot twist has to happen. God has a plan for you, and I know it's hard right now, and I really need to remind myself. And mostly, I think I'm doing this type of videos for myself, because I know I'm going to look back after some time at them, and I'm going to be like, whoa, I've learned so much, and like, even like be like, okay, now that I'm older, I can say that the advice I gave then wasn't the advice I would give to myself now. And I think the entire journey of growing, and it's absolutely magical. Like, even the hard moments, if you know how to look at them, like, they become less significant. A thing won't, a small little detail won't matter like in 10 years from now. Of course, there is the butterfly effect, and I could probably talk about the butterfly effect all day, because what is happening in the butterfly effect is like the smallest changes can cause everything to change. And moving on to the last thing here, like, I'm only going to talk a bit about, but like, all the small things, like the silly things you like try to clip on to yourself, like, oh, I'm like that, I don't know why I'm like this. Baby, you might not even be the problem, you might not even be the problem, because all those silly things you call on yourself, maybe God put them in you for a reason. Like, I'm taking my example, like, I had a lot of imagination as a kid, and like still as a teenager I'm having a lot of imagination, and I'm like, okay, imagination, but like, when I grew a bit older, like when I was in 9th grade, I've published like my first sort of like book on Wattpad. Yeah, it was a total failure. Now I'm a current writer and planning on actually publishing an actual book. And if I knew back then, okay, having this a lot of imagination means that a great hobby for me will be writing. Like, try to search up all of your like little silly things on the internet and like try to find hobbies that correspond to those things, or so things you call flaws, because I don't think people have flaws. Like, it's either like the energy or like the connection doesn't match and you need to find someone better, or you need to learn to embrace them. And with that, I want to end up this video. It has been quite some fun recording it, and I hope like I will be more consistent with this now that school started and I'm learning in the morning, and I should be able to record more videos, probably more like vlogging soon. I don't know what's to be expected because I've realized that I'm saying okay and I might record this, so no, I'm actually completely forgetting about it, and that's something I should work on. And like for like the homework chapter, like I need you to write down like 10 possibilities or 10 things you will take in consideration of doing today that will make you like get out of your comfort zone. I think that's a very fun prompt you should think about. And with that, I want to end up this video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye.